News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
It's now 4:05 as we begin KVNU's For the People show, and I'm Will Feelright with a look at some of our top stories on this Tuesday afternoon. Well, a 50-year-old Hyde Park man is facing multiple felony charges after authorities say he illegally sold RVs that were being held as collateral for a $225,000 loan. Now, according to court records, Scott Trent Cowley has been charged with 3 counts of communication fraud, a second-degree felony. Now, the crimes are suspected to have occurred between August 2023 and September of 2024. Now, according to charging documents, Cowley and a lender had entered into an agreement around April of 2024. The lender had issued $225,000 in a loan and held 4 of Cowley's RV titles as collateral. Now, the terms had required Cowley to pay the lender a specified portion of the net proceeds upon the sale of any of the RVs to reduce the loan's principal. Now, in return, the lender would then release the corresponding title. However, prosecutors allege that Cowley failed to make any principal payments following the sales and eventually claimed he did not owe the lender anything. Now, as the investigation continued by the Logan City Police Department, investigators revealed that Cowley successfully sold all 4 RVs to buyers using new titles. Now, according to court records, Cowley is scheduled to appear in court May 11th. He could face up to 15 years in prison if convicted. Meanwhile, a child and a suspected gunman are dead following a shooting that happened yesterday afternoon at the Elko Regional Airport in Nevada. Now, Elko Police Lieutenant Shane Daz said that authorities responded to reports of an active shooter near the airport's check-in at around 12:30. Now, officers say they discovered the suspected male shooter dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, and a young boy also suffered gunshot wounds and was transported to a local hospital where he later died. Now, authorities have not released further details regarding the child's identity or the suspect's motive. And a motorcyclist died last night after being hit by a pickup truck who was attempting to pass another vehicle near Moab along Highway 191. Now, the crash was first reported about 9 o'clock. According to Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden, a southbound Chevy Colorado had crossed into the oncoming lane to pass a car, but then collided with a northbound Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Now, the motorcycle rider sustained fatal injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene, while the driver of the Chevy suffered minor injuries. According to authorities, no other injuries were reported. Well, we've got some colder weather headed our way, but it's going to be nice until we get there, as temperatures have been in the mid-50s today with sunshine. Tonight, we'll see temps dropping into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, likely going to be the nicest day of the week, as temperatures will be right around the low 60s with mostly sunny skies. It's Thursday and Friday when we start to see a chance of some rain mixing with snow. Temperatures only going to be around the 40s for our high, and into the low 30s, even possibly 20s overnight. So that's where we could see that hard freeze warning coming into effect. And weather this hour brought to you by Dr. Keith Nilsson. For 27 years now, he's been helping to eliminate people's pain when it comes to knees, sports injuries, or arthritis. Find out what he can do for you. It's Dr. Keith Nilsson. Visit his website at drkeithnilssonortho.com. And with your Tuesday afternoon headlines, I'm Will Feelright, as KVNU News Time is now 4:08.
This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance, and we are now Alera Group. This is great news for you. Now you have more choices and strength of a top national broker in your corner with our local personal service. Every situation is unique. Now we can tailor coverages from deductibles and limits to risk management, so it fits you even better. Let's compare options and tighten your program. Same friendly faces, same local office. Call 435-752-0101.
Fast and first with the latest news every 30 minutes. News Talk KVNU, your number one radio station for news and talk.
Tired of that patch of dirt you call a patio? Ready to impress the neighbors and your in-laws? Introducing you, the Weekend Warrior. Thanks to Cast-A-Light Tile and Masonry. With easy-to-install outdoor pavers and expert advice, you'll go from, I have no idea what I'm doing, to check out my backyard oasis in no time. They'll teach you how to do it right without the head-scratching or YouTube rabbit holes. Cast-A-Lite. Go where the pros go. And now, where you go too.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Is Annette right there?
This is her.
We have had several people contact us telling us about how you're a greeter at Logan Regional Hospital.
Yeah.
Well, this is what one person said. Every time I stop in, Annette is there to greet me with a warm smile and a welcome. She is one of the nicest people I have ever met. And so, Annette, we were wondering if you'd like free lunch, compliments of Firehouse Subs and KVNU.
Yes, I would.
The Above and Beyond Salute on News Talk KVNU. KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com, and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Tuesday, April 14th. I'm Jason Williams. 54 degrees here at the Radio Ranch. Beautiful outside today. Some cool cloud things going on. That's the technical word for it. Cloud things. Been enjoying slightly cooler temperatures, but looks like it's going to get a little cooler than we expected. Thoughts and prayers to everyone who's planted early and has anything above an inch or two growing in their garden already. I know some folks like this, but as you heard from Will there, potential hard freeze this week. We'll see. It's spring in Utah. We can have hard freezes up until June. It's not unheard of, but some cooler temperatures coming in tonight with the low around 36. But as the weather gets a little more hectic, chance of showers and thunderstorms heading into Wednesday night, and some much cooler temperatures daytime and nighttime. But Thursday night, as Will said, is the one you want to watch out for, with possible low around 23 degrees. So if you have things out there, and Friday night as well, possibly Saturday, but definitely Thursday and Friday, hard freeze temperatures. So if you have anything out there growing pretty well and more than an inch or so above the ground, you might want to take some time before it gets really nasty Wednesday night and cover them up. So with that in mind, actually, there's some tips on this via Utah State University Extension. We'll talk about this later on. Some general gardening tips, but also some specific tips for the weather this week, how you can keep some of those plants alive if you've already got them in the ground. So we'll talk about that later on in the show. Governor Cox is really making a theme of this, his basically all of the above approach to energy, and he had some pretty big announcements today as far as the continued development of geothermal energy here in Utah. That's coming up later on in the show as well. This was pretty big news today. We actually had a spokesperson scheduled to join us here today, and due to an oversight in their calendar, we're actually going to have to postpone this, but we'll still talk about it because everyone's talking about it. But really big announcement today from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We knew that this was coming, but the specifics had not yet been unveiled on the official public side of the opening of the newly renovated. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, if you think about it, it kind of fully rebuilt temple in Salt Lake City. This has been, I'm trying to remember how many years now. It's quite a few, to say the least, but it is. It was big news for everyone today that the schedule was officially announced. It's 2027, so it's a ways off still. But there are some opportunities. You have to have a reservation for you to get out and tour. We talked about this on the show before. These tours, they vary in length. So from April 5th, 2027 to October 1st, 2027, you can actually tour the six-spired temple itself, and including the new visitor center. That 6-month window for the public tours will be filled with, there are various types of tours. There's like a 2-hour tour you can take. There's a 4-hour tour you can take. There's a tour combined with visiting some of the already renovated buildings from previous year's renovations that will basically take up your full day, a church spokesperson said. But it is official as far as the dates go, April 5th, 2027 through October 1st, 2027. And in the announcement today, Senior Apostle Dear Uchtdorf told reporters and photographers on hand for the press conference that the Visitors Center was officially dedicated. This was Monday morning, and that it is basically considered open for business. And the center, the Visitor Center, with including an above-ground east and west wing, with apparently some pretty cool models inside, from what I'm hearing at least. Also has an underground extension that connects the two wings, so you can walk between the two without going out to the street. And that will officially open this year, May 18th. But along with these announcements, they discussed what they're calling an interactive visitor center experience, including an app, or I'm sorry, not interactive, immersive is what they're calling it, an immersive Temple Square Visitor Center experience. So it'll open next month and provide this interactive experience, and they're assuming that this is going to be millions who arrive and go through the Visitor Center. And remember, tours of the temple not until April of next year. So we're just talking Visitor Center here. But the Visitor Center will have so there'll be this walkthrough experience with replicas of certain rooms inside LDS temples. And then outside, they have kind of an open house area that you can walk into with some historical markers and some multimedia presentations. But the big announcement was, again, this automated cutaway model of the temple. When you walk into the visitor center, apparently the exterior walls of the temple model are up, and there's an introduction of sorts, and then the walls actually drop away to make it feel like you're walking into the temple. And again, this is just at the visitor center. So people are pretty excited about this, to say the least. The biggest question is, so the reservations are free. This is both for the temple, inside the temple tour experience at the new visitor center, which will open May 18th, but also for the full tours that will take place in 2027. There are a couple of different ways you can make your reservations for either the visitor center opening this year, May 18th, or the April 5th through October 1st tours of the actual temple in 2027. And they offered a couple of different ways you can do that. Templesquare.org is the webpage for specifically for making reservations for to tour the visitor center, see the new visitor center, and also get a sneak preview at some of the temple renovations. But for the official tour next year, official tours of the actual temple next year, April 5th through October 1st, again, they mention the website ticketing.churchofjesuschrist.org. And there's an app. There's an app that goes along with the visitor center. Well, it's coming. In October of this year, ahead of the actual opening of the temple and the public tours of the temple being offered starting April 5th of 2027, this October, they're going to be doing digital virtual tours of the already completed spaces of the renovated temple and the new visitor center. That'll be available online. So, again, this is the dates again. May 18th, the visitor center opens, and then April 5th through October 1st of 2027, the official tours of the temple will be on offer. So again, templesquare.org. Watch for the Temple Square app coming in October. And this is a big announcement that was made by church spokespeople earlier on Monday with follow-ups today. And a lot of excitement around this online. So to celebrate the completed renovation of the Salt Lake Temple, by the way, this will also include a big public open house that will take place over a weekend. And then the tours, again, will run every day, including Sunday, from April 5th through October 1st, 2027. And the reservation process will actually be open for those temple tours in 2027, September 1st, 2026. So check it out. Some great photos and more. There are also some other in the Q&A that took place after the press conference. There was, this makes sense, a question about parking, if they're expecting this many people on a daily basis for 6 months. And the details were revealed that the church is paying Salt Lake City about $2 million to shut down an entire block of the street on the north side of the temple and another block on the west side of the temple, and portions of 3 other adjacent streets that will be intermittently closed. So the north side, the street on the north side of the temple and another block on the west side of the temple will be permanently closed for the 6-month tour period, April 5th through October 1st of next year. And they're paying the city for that because, of course, the city, incurs some pretty significant costs to go out and actually close those streets. And then there will be intermittent closures, basically a block northwest, south, east, all directions of the temple, depending on certain days of the week and traffic, foot traffic and otherwise. Certain portions of a block west, south, north, and east of the temple along North Temple, West Temple, and South Temple will be intermittently closed to accommodate traffic and parking and things like that. So Uchtdorf said that the goal of all this traffic management is safety concerns and potential bad actors, and said that they've been in pretty extensive talks with Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall about planning all of this, knowing that it's going to draw huge crowds. And Uchtdorf said that they've learned some from the mistakes of others, mentioning tragic attacks that have taken in other places. And he said that they will, unfortunately, be taking security steps. Details on those were not offered, but Uchtdorf said, sadly, that's just a reality of today, basically, that they need to take these considerations. So the streets are closed so that there is basically a buffer zone, an enclosed, secure area, and said that he appreciated the city working with them on that. And apologized in advance for the traffic, 6 months of traffic headache this might cause for some. But again, Uchtdorf said that this was part of, looking at how to make the space safe for people, considering there are going to be a lot of folks coming through. So details on this and some great renderings as well, not actual photos yet, but renderings of the visitor center, what people can expect, the interactive multimedia displays, entire walls of interactive video screens, basically, is what we're talking about. And they put about a bunch of photos out. I've linked to some of the news coverage with those photos in them on our Facebook page. And we'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
constantly sneezing, having itchy eyes, or runny nose? It's allergy season. This is Dr. Tyson Brown with Budge Clinic's Allergy and Immunology team. We can help you get the relief you need. Having the only board-certified allergist in the Valley, Budge Allergy Clinic offers allergy testing, allergy shots, and treatment, and much more. Call the clinic and book your appointment today, 435-266-4735. That's 435-266-4735, or search Budge Allergy Clinic for details.
Hi, this is Travis from Green Grow. We specialize in hydroseeding, lawn fertilization, aeration, and weed control. Last year was rough. We suffered the worst grub damage in decades. If your lawn needs extra help, call us today so we can discuss solutions to get your grass back on track. Mention this ad and ask about our spring special. Call or text us 801-394-3286, 801-394-3286.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside.
Each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Wednesday edition, Clay and Buck. We'll be joined by Kash Patel, head of the FBI, to talk about the absolute latest on the battle against crime in this country and the overall impact that he is seeing with Trump's tough-on-crime policies. Plus, we will give you the absolute latest on the Strait of Hormuz, negotiations with Iran, and all the fallout that continues there. You won't want to miss it. Wednesday edition. Come hang with us on Clay and Buck.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Senator John Curtis and United States Representative from Utah, Celeste Malloy, are voicing concerns, though both were very excited alongside Governor Cox and legislative leaders at the official announcement. Everyone knew this was coming, but the official announcement just a few weeks ago, that the U.S. Forest Service headquarters would move out of the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., to Salt Lake City as part of an overall Trump administration organizational overhaul, they're calling it. They did this, remember, last year with the Bureau of Land Management. Governor Cox, as well as every member of our delegation, Representative Blake Moore, Representative Kennedy, Representative Malloy, and for the time being, Representative Burgess Owens all said this was great news. The philosophy behind this is that the Forest Service operating out of Washington, D.C. means they're, a really long ways away from the people that are actually, on the ground managing and caring for the forests, and that it doesn't make sense. So the same argument was used for moving the BLM headquarters. So I don't know, honestly. I thought about this when discussions were kind of heating up over moving the BLM headquarters. I don't really know what happens in these offices. I have no idea. I know what a park ranger does. I know what a Forest Service employee does. I know what BLM employees do, generally, at least. But I have no idea what the management side of things entails. So I have no idea if it's smarter to have it closer to the forests that are being managed, or in D.C. where all the decisions and funding decisions are actually being made. I have no idea. I can't see a reason to think this is a bad thing. But that said, after expressing excitement, Senator John Curtis and Congresswoman Malloy are expressing some concern at the pacing of this, urging the White House to put some pepper on it. The reason for that, of course, is that many Western states, New Mexico included, Colorado, parts of Montana already, parts of Northern California, and most of Arizona are already, due to drought, considered to be in wildfire season, and the move is still happening. And so Senator John Curtis and Congresswoman Malloy are saying, we need to pick up the pace here because having the offices upended and people not actually able even to go into work because they're still in the midst of moving from D.C. to Salt Lake City is potentially going to cause us some problems. So if for those who haven't followed the story, a little background on this, Salt Lake City will be the main centralized headquarters for the Forest Service going forward. But to make this work, they broke it up into hubs. So Salt Lake City will be the main headquarters, but there will also be, call it an extension headquarters in New Mexico, Georgia, Colorado, Wisconsin, Montana, and California. And then there are research facilities that go along with this as well, and that the research side of the Forest Service will be anchored in Fort Collins, Colorado. The Forest Service, when the announcement was made a couple of weeks ago, said they weren't sure exactly how many workers in regional offices will need to relocate. They're going to try and keep everyone in regional offices in their same regional office for the time being, but they wouldn't answer questions on whether there were going to be layoffs or not. Representative Teresa Fernandez from New Mexico, who sits on the House Natural Resources Committee, echoed Senator Curtis and Congresswoman Malloy's concerns, saying that she had expressed reservations that early spring was the wrong time for upheaval, considering the Mountain West is facing historically low snowpack and extreme heat in the long-term forecast, and what is expected to be a pretty dangerous fire season. She said she was cautiously optimistic that the move will be completed soon, but that she agreed with Utah representatives that the pace needed to be stepped up. The reorganization, she said, will be a positive if leadership and jobs are ultimately brought closer to states like mine, New Mexico, and other states, but that dragging the move out and having it take months could greatly impact key decisions and planning necessary for responsiveness to wildfires and to ensure decisions are informed by on-the-ground realities. To put that another way, if they aren't there yet, the whole point of this is moot for at least this year and maybe not the best year to be doing it. I think overall it's going to be a positive. There is some concern as well for rumors that this is going to include shutting down a lot of the research that help goes into our management and monitoring the health of our national forests. The Trump administration, responding to those concerns, said that is not part of the plan, but because of the move, certain aspects of research obviously can't actually be conducted until the move is complete. So there again is some pressure to speed this up. Josh Hicks of the Wilderness Society said that the move will lead he's concerned the move will lead to less access to public forests and increased threats to wildlife habitat if they aren't able to get doing the work that they have to do every year by the end of April. And he says it looks like they're not going to hit that target. So he's concerned as well. We'll see. But Congresswoman Malloy and Senator John Curtis telling the White House today, you got to pick up the pace on this. We're headed into what's going to be probably a dangerous wildfire season, and decisions and planning that needs to be happening is not happening right now because we're mid-move still. So put some pepper on it. Check it out. I've linked to some of the comments from our federal representatives on our Facebook page if you'd like to read more. And we'll be back with more of For the People on the other side of these headlines with KVNU's We'll Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. Fruit trees across northern Utah are blooming about 5 weeks ahead of schedule due to the unusually warm winter and early spring, and that's leaving local orchards highly vulnerable to incoming freezing temperatures. Now, farmers in Perry report that multiple crops are already developing well before the typical timelines. Now, Utah State University Extension orchard specialist Jimmy Larson warned that trees in full bloom are particularly sensitive to cold temps. Now, according to Larson, bud death will begin around 28 degrees, and even 30 minutes of exposure can result in a 10% crop loss. Now, similar weather conditions recently devastated orchards in southern Utah County, causing an estimated 80 to 90% loss in some areas. Now, while growers are utilizing tools like large agricultural fans to try to circulate warm air and prevent cold air from settling near the ground, the full impact of the next couple of days' freezing temperatures may not be known for several weeks. Meanwhile, a 47-year-old man was arrested over the weekend after allegedly firing a weapon during a physical altercation at his home, which left one person wounded. Jose Guadalupe Reyes of Salt Lake City is now facing multiple charges. Now, according to a probable cause affidavit, the incident began when Reyes evicted two individuals from his party for causing an incident. Now, the group later returned with more people, which sparked a fight. During the melee, a man was shot in the chest while fleeing. Now, police say they recovered .22 caliber and 9mm shell casings at the scene. Now, following a search warrant, officers also located Reyes and a .22 caliber pistol inside the residence. Now, Reyes reportedly admitted to firing 3 or 4 shots into the air to scare the group. He also allegedly told investigators he was not legally permitted to possess a firearm due to his citizenship status. And finally, a 5-year-old child in West Jordan was rushed to a hospital last night after falling from the 3rd story of a window, according to authorities. Officers with the West Jordan Police Department said they responded to the incident just before 7:30, according to Detective Derek Brummel. Now, first responders located the injured child at the scene and immediately transported them to an area hospital for medical treatment. Now, police have not released any additional details regarding how the fall occurred or who was present at the home at the time it happened. Well, those cold temperatures expected to come later this week, as I was mentioning, that could impact fruit trees and also possibly some early garden plants if you've already got an early jump on your gardening. Now, we'll see temperatures tonight dropping into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, sunny skies, temperatures in the low 60s before a chance of rain and snow comes in Thursday and Friday. And it's the end of this week when we'll see those cold temperatures. Highs Thursday and Friday expected to be only around 45 degrees with overnight temperatures into the mid-20s. So definitely some cold weather headed our way. And it's Firehouse Subs that brings you our weather here at the bottom of the hour. Congratulations to Annette Wright, a longtime volunteer at Logan Regional Hospital. She was our latest Above and Beyond Salute winner from Firehouse Subs. We called her last Friday and gave her a $40 gift card for all of her volunteer efforts that she has made over the years at Logan Regional Hospital. You can nominate somebody by going to kvnutalk.com and telling us about the individual and what they've done for our community. And I'll have another check of local news coming up at the top of the hour. I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU Tuesday headlines.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Despite a breakdown in talks between the U.S. and Iran and a battle to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump says a second round of talks could happen soon.
The Pakistanis publicly urged both sides to return to the table before the ceasefire runs out in a week. John Carl asked the president whether J.D. Vance might again lead the U.S. delegation in the next round of talks. Could be, Trump said, seeming to sound uncertain, before quickly pivoting to talk about what a fantastic job the Pakistanis are doing as mediators.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. The International Monetary Fund is warning that the ongoing war could lead to a global recession. Following meetings in Washington between Israel and Lebanon, Israel's ambassador says both are united against Iran-backed Hezbollah remaining in Lebanon. Another woman has come forward with sexual misconduct allegations against Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell. He denies the claims, but announced he's resigned from Congress and suspended his bid earlier for California's governor.
You have a nasty weed problem? We have the right person for you. Sir, you work for Logan Extermination, don't you? Can you help these folks get rid of pesky dandelions?
Of course I can help. I am the Terminator. I will terminate those little yellow devils in your yard. Call me at Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
Spring special. Terminate your weeds and green up your yard for only $40. Based on maximum 5,000 square foot or less.
Bringing Wall Street to Main Street. From your local experts in downtown Logan, this is the Adams Wealth Advisors Market Report.
Hi, this is Brooke with Adams Wealth Advisors.
It was another strong day for stocks, with major indices continuing to rally and move closer to their previous all-time highs. The momentum is still being driven by optimism around improving geopolitical conditions, particularly the possibility of reopening the Strait of Hormuz. While the strait remains closed and the U.S. blockade is still in place, confirmation that Iran has reached out for further negotiations was enough to keep the rally going. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which tends to be more conservative in its composition, posted a modest gain, rising 318 points to 48,536. The Nasdaq led the way, climbing 1.81% to 25,842, and the S&P 500 gained 1.81%, ending the day at 6,967. Sector performance was mostly positive. Energy stocks moved lower, while materials and consumer staples also finished slightly in the red. All other sectors posted gains, with AI-related and adjacent industries continuing to lead the market. In the bond market, we saw a more noticeable rally, though still relatively measured. The 5-year and 10-year Treasury yields both declined by 5 basis points to 3.86% and 4.25% respectively. Gold also regained some momentum, climbing closer to the 4,900 level. On the economic front, small business optimism declined meaningfully in March, largely due to higher oil prices. However, the latest producer inflation data came in softer than expected, helping ease some concerns around rising prices. Looking ahead, tomorrow brings the Home Builder Confidence Index and the Empire State Manufacturing Survey, both of which should provide additional insight into different parts of the U.S. economy.
That's your update from Adams Wealth Advisors, guiding your financial future one day at a time. For personalized help planning yours, reach out to us at 435-752-1702. See you soon, Cache Valley. Advisory services offered through Adams Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. For important disclosures and more information, visit adamswealthadvisors.com.
Hey there, we'll get you back to the music soon, but quick question. Does your home ever feel a little off? Like one room feels fine, but the next room is too hot or too cold. You might even feel a draft of air. Well, that's not supposed to happen. And that's where Cardall's insulation comes in. Cardall's uses high-performance injection foam insulation that fills in the cracks and gaps, so you have a home that feels more comfortable in every room. And spring is the perfect time to get it done, before that summer heat shows up and your AC starts working overtime. Call Cardall's Insulation at 755-5012. That's 755-5012.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. I forgot to mention this. Started the show with the big announcement from LDS Church representatives Monday and again today on the Temple Square Visitor Center, the schedule in 2027 for tours, all of that. The app that will be released this fall for the Visitor Center. They're calling it an immersive experience. And I forgot to mention that there is a 15-page PDF you can actually download and photos that go along with this as well. I've linked to that on our Facebook page, but of course you can find it in the media section. Right? Well, it's linked right on the front page right now, but I assume that will change. If it does, you can link to the media section of the website churchofjesuschrist.org. And it will take you to an option to download and even print this PDF and some photos that go along with it, too. So if you want a visualization of what I tried my best to describe to you from the press conference, you can actually download that. So I've linked to that on our Facebook page as well. Coming up on the show, this is a fun one. Sneak preview for our listeners today of Sutherland Institute's new episode of Defending Ideas. You can watch these in full each week at sutherlandinstitute.org or defendingideas.org. And they're about hour-long discussions, usually, with host Nick Dunn of the Sutherland Institute, joined by various guests. And they have been on a kind of a theme lately of what can we do to make politics normal again, to bring back actual wars of ideas, to step away from the vitriol and anger that you hear in a lot of politics now, which is there to control you. By the way, Nick astutely pointed that out in a couple of episodes ago, that if someone's screaming and angry, the goal is to get you screaming and angry about the same thing, and then you'll do what they want. give money or vote the way they want or whatever it might be. So how do we get away from this? Well, this week, Nick Dunn and crew are discussing that in Defending Ideas with Josh Lewis, who is the host of a show called Saving Elephants, which is a funny name for a actually very serious weekly episode podcast. And they're having a conversation about bringing principles back to the center of American political life. I've linked to that on our Facebook page if you'd like to read more about Saving Elephants. As the name implies, the goal of the Saving Elephants podcast is to discuss the future of the Republican Party. And they've done everything from, contrasting the thought leaders of the heyday of conservatism, Burke, Strauss, Buckley, all of these, and then drawing a direct contrast with some of the things you hear from conservative or Republican, at least, leaders today, and showing you how different they are. Things are a lot less thoughtful, let's put it that way. And it's not just in the Republican Party. Both major political parties have gone down this road. Republicans first. Democrats wasted no time joining them. And Nick and Josh kind of break down some things that might actually help. So that's coming up at 5 o'clock today. Back to John Curtis for a bit. John Curtis, just about 5 minutes before the show started today, out with a press release. I've been watching this one kind of closely because it's a piece of legislation that isn't getting a lot of attention because it's not very controversial, to be honest with you. But it's one that it brings to light an issue I did not know existed, but is pretty serious. And people kind of laughed when Curtis's team unveiled the title a couple of weeks, or said they would be unveiling the title, announced the title and said they'd be unveiling the bill this week. When they made that announcement last week, people kind of giggled because it's called the Alex Gate Safety Act, and this was introduced today into the United States Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, and then unanimously passed by the committee. It's bipartisan legislation. It's co-written by United States Senator John Curtis from here in Utah, Republican, and Amy Klobuchar, a Democrat from Minnesota, also in the Senate. And the whole goal of this is creating a consumer product safety standard for large gates. And again, when they announced this, people kind of giggled, like, what, you don't have anything better to worry about? But this actually stems from an unknown. I haven't seen any reporting on this until the act was introduced. These potentially hazardous gates that are being used in residential, commercial, and recreational settings. Senator Curtis said the vote today on the Alex Gate Safety Act represents the government taking common sense action to protect consumers from avoidable accidents caused by poor designing and poorly maintained gates. By codifying industry standards for simple and affordable safety mechanisms, this bill will prevent tragedies like those of 7-year-old Alex Kwanbeck and Esther Nakjijo. And then there was a link to the story that was the impetus for the bill. And the story is one, I'd never heard of this, honestly. But again, the bill was introduced to address this specifically. Gate fatalities. So the story behind this act is in 2019, Alex Kwanbeck was playing football with friends during recess at school, and he attempted to close the schoolyard gate because as they were playing, the ball kept rolling out. And as he pushed the gate closed, it actually detached from the upper support hinge, actually detached, and the gate fell. And this can be fixed, apparently, with a $50 piece of hardware. But many people don't know that there's a problem to be fixed until it falls. A year after that, in 2020, a young girl, Essie was her nickname, Nakajigo, was killed by a similar gate at Arches National Park. You may actually remember that story. This was during a camping trip, and a strong wind blew the gate into her car and decapitated her. Outside Magazine at the time reported that this 25-year-old woman here on vacation touring the park was awarded $10 million from the federal government, largest wrongful death award in Utah history. And consumer advocates jumped on this. They brought in industry professionals, independent experts, some standard organizations for, everything from playground equipment to, roads and trails. Forest Service experts were brought in, and they basically sat everybody down and said, how can we stop people from getting killed by gates? Is there a problem? And everyone apparently said, yes, actually, there is. There is no consumer product safety standard for gate manufacturing, and oftentimes they're used in public settings where if something like the story of young Alex's death, where the hinge actually broke, this is easy to fix. The manufacturer could fix this as well, but there isn't a financial incentive for them until something bad happens. But we could avoid all of this by setting some manufacturing standards. Parents, Dana and Eric Quambeck, parents of Alex, said the true tragedy of our son's death is that it was entirely preventable. And today we are honoring his memory by being here as the committee today advanced Curtis's legislation. The family described it as common sense legislation to protect Americans from falling gates like the one that collapsed on him. And I didn't know this existed, but the American Fence Association praised the passage today. They'd worked closely on the bill as industry partners, but also working with Curtis and Klobuchar on the bill. Said that this basically amounts to the first actual gate safety standard update in more than 30 years. And so there was a previous version of this bill, the Alex Gate Safety Act of 2025, that was introduced in the House by John Curtis, and of course now he's in the Senate. That bill stalled out. He's reintroduced it in the Senate, and this time it passed a committee unanimously earlier today. But this is, I wanted to highlight this because this isn't the kind of thing that makes headlines. In fact, on the outset, a lot of people, again, kind of giggled when the name of the act was announced last week and that it was going to be introduced this week. But this is a pretty serious thing. So according to the association, the American Fence Association, there are close to 500 injuries and deaths every year that can be attributed to poor manufacturing of pretty heavy gates. And some of the solutions that will be standardized by this act include everything from weighting the gates properly so that if it's a big swinging metal bar like the one that decapitated the 25-year-old woman in Arches National Park, that it's weighted so that it won't actually pick up enough speed to do that. That's what happened in her case. The wind blew the gate and got it moving, but then the gate itself on a downhill slope had enough swing and weight to it that it was actually able to swing entirely through her windshield and take her head off, literally. And industry experts said that could be fixed very easily with a counterweight, but there is no requirement that the counterweight be there. American Fence Association also said that most of the improvements to gate designs to protect children on playgrounds, to protect people when they're out on the farms, things like that, can be made without significantly impacting the manufacturing costs. Most of these are simple design changes. For example, the gate, the hinge that broke and killed the young man, little boy, actually, Alex Quambeck, the fix for that is welding the hinge differently. No additional cost to the manufacturer whatsoever, just pointing out that the way they were welding it could potentially lead to rust, at which point the top hinge when the gate is pulled open is likely to break. And at that point, the bottom one goes with it. It swings, and that gate weighs about 200 pounds when it comes down. And they're putting these in playgrounds all over the United States. Easy fix, but just never required. So hats off to John Curtis for this one. I love highlighting legislation like this. It won't make CNN. It won't get a single noteworthy debate. It'll probably just slide through and be signed by the president, and nobody will ever talk about it again. This is the kind of stuff that we send them there to do. I know we all pay attention to the sexier stuff, the controversial stuff, the stuff that can get us all arguing on social media or with our relatives or coworkers. But this is the actual job that we send them there to do. Little things like this that turn into big improvements. So check it out. I've linked to it on our Facebook page. Commerce Committee unanimously advances Senator Curtis's gate safety bill this afternoon, just hours after it was officially introduced. It was that much of a common sense bill. So cool stuff. Video from Senator Curtis speaking to the bill that his campaign team has shared at that his staff, he's not running for re-election this year, that his staff has shared at curtis.senate.gov. And we've got a bit of that audio for you right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. You know what they say, April showers bring big savings. Right now, get up to $200 back by rebate on select Whirlpool refrigerators during our Whirlpool Savings event. Offer ends April 19th. 12-month deferred interest financing available. See store for details. Come experience the Daryl's difference today. Family-owned, cash value trusted, west on Airport Road in Benson. Open till 6 on weekdays and 5 on Saturday. Stop in or shop at daryls.com.
Look, let's clear something up. IV therapy, hormones, peptides, ozone, this isn't about luxury wellness. It's about function. This is Dr. Josh Red with Red River Health and Wellness, and we're expanding our services to include these advanced therapies that support how your body actually works. Low energy, inflammation, hormones, recovery, immune health. These treatments are used intentionally with medical oversight and integrated into our existing approach to whole body care. If you're tired of quick fixes and vague answers, this is something different. This is about supporting your health at a deeper level so you can feel better, think clear, and live stronger. Red River Health and Wellness, because your health deserves more than guesswork. Learn more or schedule a consultation at redriverhealthandwellness.com.
Call Red River Health and Wellness at 855-55-RIVER.
Call Red River today.
After the passage of his Gate Safety Act today, hours after it was introduced, it passed committee unanimously in the United States Senate. A bill, again, that would simply set some standards for gates that have caused deaths at playgrounds, on public roads, at national and state parks over the last few years, setting some bare minimum manufacturing standards for public safety. The bill passed, again, just hours after it was officially introduced. The Senate committee passed it unanimously, and Senator John Curtis was, despite the fact this is, again, a bill that won't make headlines, won't create controversy, will get zero discussion, will just pass and be signed by the president and fix a major problem. Senator John Curtis was ecstatic.
Today's vote on the ALEC Gate Safety Act represents the government taking common sense action to protect consumers from avoidable caused and poorly designed maintained gates. By codifying industry standards for simple and affordable safety mechanisms, this bill will help prevent tragedies like those of 7-year-old Alex Kwanbeck in California and Esther Nakajigo in Utah. I'd like to thank the chairman, the ranking member, for bringing up this important measure. Also, a big shout out to my colleague, Senator Klobuchar, for her partnership in this effort. I have a number of letters of support from stakeholders like Ready, Set, Safe and the American Fence Association, and I ask unanimous consent to submit these to the record.
Again, that was part of Senator John Curtis's admittedly muted celebration over this bill. But once again, I love highlighting this stuff because we have this impression that everything Congress is doing is, geared at making the front page of CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, and oftentimes, sadly, it is, or social media these days, getting everybody stirred up and fighting. And but this is what we actually sent them there to do. Again, the short version of this, some gates were made well, some were not made well. And this bill takes some of the best practices from the well-made gate manufacturers and makes them required standard for public safety in playgrounds and on public roads and at national parks throughout the country. This is the kind of stuff you want your elected representatives doing, rather than fundraising and screaming on cable news. Coming up in hour 2, similar theme, I guess. How to bring principle back to our political debates and policy discussions. It's a sneak preview of this week's Sutherland Institute's Defending Ideas next in hour 2 of today's show here on KVNU Logan.